So hello and welcome to this week's episode of the Turn 5 podcast, and it is a very special episode as we mentioned last week because we have the British Grand Prix here at Silverstone. Enjoy! So hello everyone and welcome to a very special episode of the Turn 5 podcast where we're here at the British Grand Prix. Hope you enjoy. So hello for what Richard has told me will be the third time. And welcome to this week's episode of the Turn 5 podcast.
You sent multiple intros. This is your fault.
I did send multiple intros so you could choose. I wanted to give you some choice.
You know that scene in The Emperor's Last Groove versus both is good. Both is good.
So yeah, still hello and welcome to this week's episode of the Turn 5 podcast where we'll be discussing the British Grand Prix. We'll have some footage from the events at Silverstone laced through it that took over the weekend. But let's just jump straight into it. What a Grand Prix.
Yeah, that was a Grand Prix that had a bit of everything.
Best Grand Prix of the season?
So far, yes.
Yeah.
I'd say so. It was one of the few races I can genuinely say it kept me interested throughout the race.
Yeah.
Because every time something just seemed to just dip off, something else would happen.
Yeah.
Whether that was Yuki spinning Pierre, which, ouch for the relationship, or Max suddenly having an issue, which was a puncture, but wasn't a puncture, but was damage, and it was actually caused by the two AlphaTauris. Yikes. And they had AlphaTauri debris stuck in Max's floor. So
I don't know if that's because of the two AlphaTauris. Did that not happen? I'm pretty sure that happened afterwards. It must have been because Gasly picked up damage in turn one.
Maybe. Oh well. Either way,
So
it was AlphaTauri floor bit.
Yeah.
So AlphaTauri was stuck in Max's floor.
Yep. And Guan Yu Zhou done some bouncing.
Guan Yu Zhou took Fernando's 2016 quote to heart and said, you see the ground, the sky, the ground, the sky. Apart from he saw the ground for a lot of the time.
Yeah. And then he saw the catch fence.
And then some tyres.
Yeah.
It's just, I've never seen a car end up in that sort of space before.
I have, but not in that position. So Formula 2 Sochi a couple of years ago, he literally speared the tyre barrier so hard that he went through it. It gave me those vibes, but
there was
it was also sideways.
F3 race at Monza as well.
Alex Peroni
went up the
Jesus.
sausage curb and
literally took
the catch fence as well.
So that was I think the F3 one was probably the closest I've seen to it.
Yeah.
But even so, that was higher up and more stuck in the fence. So in a way, it was kind of easier to get him out because he wasn't behind the tires.
Yeah.
I didn't even know there was a gap there.
No.
So yeah, that was interesting.
Thank God there is a gap, though. I think it would have been worse if there wasn't.
Yeah, because he'd have just landed. He'd have just probably
on
fallen.
The tires.
Yeah, and just been upside down.
Yeah.
So made removing the car more difficult with the failure of the roll hoop, though. Because obviously that's the main lifting point of the car.
Yeah, I mean, it did do exactly what it's supposed to do, though. Like, it's supposed to buckle a little if you end up on it.
I have seen diagrams on the Twitter that suggest it shouldn't do that. And
they
it's
said
supposed
that
to be able
to.
It's supposed to be able to withstand major load. Where did I see it? Oh no, I have lost it.
just on that incident, there's some mental people seem to be trying to blame George Russell for it.
Okay, it's a
Mhm.
racing incident at very
Yeah.
worst. It's lap 1. You haven't even got to turn 1. George is just trying to close the door, has slightly misjudged where Pierre is.
Yeah, probably shouldn't have went for that gap. I wouldn't say that was a gap that existed.
Well, Latifi did.
But that's
Sorry,
that's
Goat Tifi. Yeah.
Goat Tifi. Circuit commentary literally said that. Like when he got into Q3, he's like, "Yeah, Goat Tifi's already trending around Silverstone."
Oh
And
my
just on the
God.
max damage, there was another bit bold in circuit commentary. Is like at the start of the weekend, I never thought I'd be saying this line, but Latifi is sticking to the back of Max Verstappen.
I mean, yeah, that is fair cop. I would not have if someone had that on like F1 bingo, I would have never have. I'd have just sacrificed that card and just gone, well, that's not going to happen.
Yeah. He didn't pass him though. That would have been the ultimate memes if Latifi had passed Verstappen.
Yeah.
But yeah, just last point on the Zhou crash. Thank God for safety in Formula One.
Yeah.
Um,
Well, safety in single seaters in general, because we
Yeah.
can briefly mention the Formula 2 crash. Then again, the guy that it saved was the guy that caused the crash in the first place. So,
he's in
you know.
it. But it was so tense around Silverstone.
It was tense watching the broadcast, I'll be honest with you, because all we heard from them was like, oh yeah, the car's stuck between a barrier. And I'm thinking, what, how, where, what?
Well, we didn't even know that.
Mm.
We saw the cars going off, and it was, oh, that's going to be a safety car. One of the cars lost is George Russell cubing around the circuit.
Yeah.
And then it was the red flags came out, and we're all just like, wait, what? And they're like, yeah, we've got a car upside down. It's, oh dear. And we saw George Russell bolting off. Then we see him back in his car. That was quite confusing. So we obviously couldn't see everything in between. And then, yeah, it showed us the incident. And it was just a collective, oh my God, when we saw the replay.
Yeah, that was pretty much how it went at home as well. Apart from, obviously, we had all of I mean, you could probably see it on the screen. But
the screen is literally just the world feed.
Yeah. So you saw what we saw. It was just like, we just sat there waiting for any kind of news, and just like, we've not seen a single anything of the incident. We haven't even heard from the team principal. It's just nothing. And
I think we maybe got news slightly before you.
Wouldn't surprise me.
It cut to the track, like TV team that had been working through the weekend on the podium. Like, yeah, we've got a statement from the FIA, and it was they're following the lap 1 turn 1 incident. Blah blah blah. We can confirm that both drivers are out of the car and are conscious, etc. And that just cued massive applause around the track.
Yeah, we could hear that on the world feed.
Yeah. So that massive applause was us finding out that they're okay. So I don't know if you already knew, but
I think they pretty much just told us. So it was
I
probably
think there's a cheer,
times.
and then they said,
yeah.
So, I mean, there were several cheers from you guys, weren't there? Because it was like, we heard that he's okay, and then he's out of the car, and that got another cheer.
We were getting like various bits of information through each time. And then the biggest cheer was when it popped up, race control, race will restart at 15:56.
Yeah.
Way! We're going racing an hour after we started.
Yeah, I was getting to the point where I was just like, I was trying to work out, like, okay, this is getting close. I might actually miss the end of the race because I have to leave for work. But in a way, I know it was said that, it was lucky that Zhou's floor was what hit the catch fencing. I think in terms of the actual race in itself, it was lucky that the floor hit it, because otherwise they'd have probably had to cut the catch fencing to get him out if he was the other way around. And that would have led to even longer delays and probably wouldn't have seen the completion of the race.
No. because I think we would have hit the end of the 4-hour window.
Easily, because you'd have to then repair the fence so that the circuit is back up to standard, and that has to get signed off by the FIA.
Covered the gap of the fence with something.
Yeah, either way, like it needs something there, and that's going to take time to orchestrate.
Just some cling film.
Yeah, just get one of the fans like cardboard bits that say
Daniel,
like, "Go
marry
on,
me."
Mando." yeah.
Oh no, just take all the advertising hoardings that the fans try to take home with them and put that there. Just in the middle of the catch fence, Rolex.
See, if I was there, I'd probably try and take home a Zoom one, because that would be quite funny. What did you get from the Grand Prix? Zoom.
There weren't actually that many Zoom ones on circuit level. There was mainly just the big one at Woodcut.
Ah, damn.
Wait,
So we need to go to France then.
Oh yeah,
We need a turn 5 trip to France. Zoom, 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 zoom. And we all just rip off all of the Zoom.
But yeah, literally, as I was walking off the track at the end of the race, there'll be a video of me on the track at some point in this episode.
So, welcome to what could be described as probably the busiest grid walk in history. There's so many people on the grid now. People with breakboards, advertising hoardings, everything, but it's just a party atmosphere. And it's great fun, isn't it?
There's just a pile next to each exit of just green Rolex boards from security being like, "We'll have that, thank you." As soon as the gate got opened, some kids made a sprint straight for the 150-meter breakboard. And you just seen a marshal walking over like, no.
Advertising hoardings I can understand, because that's mainly a Formula One thing. Like they'll change event to event, but the 150-meter board, no. That's a circuit thing. You leave that there.
They're Formula One as well, because do they not sometimes have branding on the back?
True, and sometimes they're I've seen in other categories they're in the shapes of tires. Yeah.
They're just Pirellis.
Yeah. Maybe then. Who knows? Maybe the circuit just has a stock of ones.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But
If Silverstone would like to invite me to come and have a tour of the facilities, I would be more than willing to accept that offer.
Particularly on a British Grand Prix weekend,
Yeah, I am available next year. I can book it off.
Well, you're going to book it off anyway. Turn 5 trip to Silverstone.
Yeah, it's on the cards. I'm getting there.
Absolutely on the cards.
I can now book it off because it's within a year. So
yeah. Well, once we know the calendar,
I'm just going to book off like the entirety of July.
Every weekend in July. Yeah. So I will definitely need one of these.
And I'm going to cancel the rest. Yeah.
This will be at like the very end of June.
But yeah, what else to talk about in the race? There's so much. I completely forgot Sergio Perez was in 4th, because from where I was sitting in Vale, we couldn't read the
timing
standings. Tower. It's too far away.
No, well, I mean, he was 16th.
Yeah, so it was just safety car deployed. Yes! Everybody pits, and then they come round. I'm like, wait, that's Sergio Perez on softs right behind Lewis.
I mean, it was Carlos, Lewis, and Perez behind Charles on old hards. So I think he was more like,
he was like, we heard it on the team radio, because thankfully they play that over circuit commentary. Yeah. And so Charles was just like, what the guys, what have you done? And then Ferrari were trying to say, Carlos here, screw over Hamilton here, we need Charles to win. He's just like, no.
I was just because I just wanted the Sainz win.
Oh, yeah. Oh, the Sainz win was so popular.
Yeah. I mean, you heard it when he crossed the line.
Yeah.
You heard it at qualifying.
Yes.
Yeah, there was a big cheer in qualifying actually. And then Max went in P2. It was just
I don't get that. Oh,
no. I can confirm that I didn't actually hear any boos at the track. Where we were sitting was quite well behaved during qualifying.
obviously, it's the Hamilton Straight infecting people.
But it's when
It's just, there's a little chart like underneath their seats. If Verstappen does this, boo.
No. It's just if Verstappen, boo.
yeah.
Well, no, because when Verstappen went slow, there was big cheers.
Okay, yeah, fair.
Yeah, and then like the thing that I don't get is in his first lap of Q3, I think it was, he span. Everyone cheered, but it's like he's gonna get another lap anyway.
See,
What happened was there was
because they cut him mid
because he beat it, and then
they
there
cut
was
him
then he
mid-spin.
recovered it, and then everyone was just like, okay, yeah, fair play, nicely done, lad, nicely done.
Yeah,
But
they
the
cut
next
him
lap he-
mid-spin, so the whole circuit's like, wait, he's going in the wall, and then he didn't hit the wall, so it was just like, oh, well done.
No red flag. We spend less time in the rain. Good show. Good show.
I can't say anything. I was in a covered grandstand on Saturday.
But no, it was the fact that it was just like, wait, he's beat it. And it was like, oh, okay, very nicely done. Nice 360, sir. Good pirouette.
Speaking of the rain, I've actually got a nice video of the LED light board just being like, rain.
You're such a bird. Oh, get a slow move to flags.
I thought that was a good shot, okay? I thought that was a good shot. I tried to get good production value.
How the fuck am I going to use it?
No, just edit it in somewhere.
Okay, I'll just put it over you and just put it on loop so we never have to see your face. It'll just be slow-mo F1 flags.
Like, bear in mind, this was my camera. It's not like I had a proper one. I've just got my phone.
I've just got my phone for this. 16
I've got my-
megapixel front-facing camera, yeah?
Yeah, there's also some
1080p.
slow-mos of Formula 2 on there. I think some Formula 1, although FOM will copyright strike us for that, so...
Yeah.
With some W series as well.
What if I put it in reverse?
It would just look odd.
What if I inverted the footage so it was...
There's even some Porsche Super Cup that we don't even talk about on this podcast.
Oh, perfect. I can put that on.
Yeah.
Beautiful.
We'll get FOM'd by we'll get the copyright strike from a company we don't even know about.
To be fair, I think Porsche Super Cup on Formula 1 weekends is actually controlled by FOM.
Beep.
Because it uses the Formula 1 graphics and everything.
Well,
Well, it uses the old Formula 1 graphics. Bring them back. But yeah, also we were talking about the timing tower. Like, at some points during sessions and stuff, I just had to get my phone out and like 17 times zoom the big screen so that I can make out the time left in the session or whatever lap we're on and the running order.
see, what you need is the Formula One app where you can join the live timings.
I do have the Formula 1 app, but unfortunately in Silverstone, everyone in the mobile data signal, so there's no internet.
But yeah, the only other option would be to get a set of binoculars and look like a pedo the whole time. And you're there like that.
Wait, I saw people with binos. I thought that's a respectable
There's
decision.
actually
No,
quite a few
no.
people with binoculars around the circuit.
What age were they?
No comment.
yeah.
Don't know exactly what you're getting at.
See, we're doing ourselves a disservice here. We're not going to get a sponsorship from a binocular company anymore.
If they want to sponsor you, fair enough.
Yeah, we'll just get a sponsor from Super Zoom cameras instead. How to read live timings at an F1 track? Zoom.
No, we're on Zoom now.
Yeah, true. We'll get our Zoom sponsor.
So if Zoom want to sponsor us and send us to the French Grand Prix, all expenses paid.
would be lovely.
Thanks. If I just keep calling out companies, one day it'll work.
One
right?
day someone will send us.
Who else
So it's
sponsors?
Lenovo you need to
Oh,
phone for
yeah, yeah.
Silverstone.
I'm now desperately looking around. Oh, my old laptop was a Lenovo.
It seems so forced when they're mentioning the sponsor because it's like, right, who's ready for the 2022 Lenovo British Grand Prix? And we're all just sitting there like, you could just have said British Grand Prix, couldn't you?
Yeah, but they're probably contractually obliged. Speaking of contractually obliged, today's sponsor, Raid Shadow Legend.
I'll just say they're sponsored by your stream.
Yeah, fair. I mean, we get enough. The stream elements thing pops up often enough with my listen to the Turn 5 podcast. So, yeah.
The Turn 5 podcast, sponsored by one of its hosts, Richard.
Twitch.tv/
Ricardo
/
P41.
Ricardo P41. Subscribe.
You can't. I'm not that established.
Follow.
Sure. Like
drop me a follow, please. Please. I'm on like 31 follows.
Yeah, because Turn 5 was your 30th. Like the podcast account was your 30th follow.
The account that I made and we haven't used.
Yes.
We will though. We will.
Yeah.
Turn 5 streams coming soon.
You're going to stream the Turn 5 variant of Uno, and I'm going to stream my perspective of Uno.
Yeah.
And then I can snipe your cards.
Yeah, but I'll just snipe you back, so it's okay.
This is when we sit on opposite sides of the table instead. And we just get by the other two.
Yeah.
We did play Uno on Thursday night, and it was just the absolute chaos.
Which is exactly what I wanted.
Oh, yeah.
If it's not chaos, are you even playing Uno?
True. So let's get back to business.
Yeah, we've got a lot to talk about.
We've talked about the dual crash. We've talked about the dual Alpha Tauri spins. We've talked about max damage. We haven't talked about Hamilton podium.
Yeah, it was. I'll say that was good for him. I will rate that. That was he made the most of it.
I think he could have won the race.
It would have been close.
I don't know.
There was an iffy strategy call from Mercedes. They should have boxed as soon as Leclerc swapped with Sainz, and they didn't. And then if they get that pit stop
they
right,
left him out
instead of
too
being
long.
The only thing watching it,
like the 4-second. Go on.
I was going to say, the only thing watching it is it felt like it was going to be one of them classic Hamilton drives.
Mm. I mean, to be fair, I dispute that it was anyway. Like, it was a great drive in that absolute that is the 2022 Mercedes.
I don't know if it's actually that much of a anymore. It seems to be going all right now.
At Silverstone. Everybody knew Silverstone was going to be a good track for them.
It's all smooth.
So
And
let's
it's
see
like
how
Barcelona.
let's see how they do next week.
They're going to get.
Like the Max Verstappen fans.
Oh yeah, true.
Sorry,
Yeah.
the McLaren. as Lando would say, the McLaren fans.
Oh yeah, that's what we need to talk about. George Russell, absolutely. Just while we're discussing Mercedes, what a lad!
Yeah,
what a lad George Russell is. Gutted that he had to retire because he didn't actually need to retire.
I heard he couldn't get the car started again.
Yeah, so he went to the team to find out what buttons to press, came back, and the marshals had just put it on the low loader.
Wrecked.
Like he literally said, "Don't touch the car." He came back, and it's on the lorry.
Absolutely savaged.
So that's what we try to plead with Joe Bauer, the FIA technical delegate, being like, "Look, I wanted to drive it,
I
but
asked
they
them nicely.
drove it for me. It's not my fault." But was very strict and said, "No."
Understandable. You know, it's one of those the rules things, isn't it?
Yeah. And because we didn't restart the race, we only resumed the race.
Yeah.
He was.
That was the next confusion as well. When we were under the red flag, the ordering of the drivers. The
It
fact
is
on
because
we
not
know,
all, yeah,
yeah,
not all cars have
because
Cross the safety car
line
2
the
line.
safety car line, and
Yeah,
they didn't say that until we got back racing for about 20 minutes. We sat there like, why is Sainz starting on pole?
Yeah, the
circuit commentary thought it was because we red flagged on lap 1, and I'm sitting there like, no,
No,
Bahrain
but-
2020 disagrees.
well, even Silverstone
Silverstone
last year.
2021, yeah.
It's yeah. My thought was because we hadn't crossed the sector 1 line, because that's like that's a timing line, isn't it? So it's my thought was like they haven't got a
Yeah.
known value of which order everyone was in at a specific point of the track, so they'd revert to the last known quantity, which in this case was the grid. My logic is right, the line I chose was wrong. So yeah,
It's
safety car
line
2
is actually
Yeah.
a timing line as well.
Yeah, see, that's why I just completely forgot about its existence. So yeah, no, I was just talking to my dad about it, and he was like, so why are they going back to grid? And I was like, yeah, it's probably, timing lines, yada yada. And he went, okay, yeah, that makes sense. Because otherwise you'd have teams arguing the toss of like, no, I was ahead, yada yada yada, and it would just slow things down so much. At the end of the day, you can't argue with a line on the circuit.
Yeah, yeah.
I mean, you can, but you can argue with a line all you like, but you're just going to get locked up in a loony bin for arguing with a piece of paint.
And then during we had absolute idiots going on to a live Formula One circuit.
Yeah, I understand their the whole campaign thing. I do not agree with the way they're going about it.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking. Like, I agree with like the
sentiment is there.
Yeah, it's just the way around it. They're doing it wrong, and there is, and like people would actually listen more, I feel, if they actually done it right instead of just being.
Even went to them on Saturday, and we'll look. We know this is a possibility. Get in touch with us, and we'll get you a way to do this right. And they just completely ignored them.
Yeah, which means I lose all respect for them at that point.
Absolutely.
And especially seeing their message is like, oh yeah, get rid of all the oil. And like Formula One has just announced that we're moving to a net zero
Completely sustainable fuel. Yeah.
And it's already got the most thermally efficient combustion engine on the planet. And it's already moving towards carbon neutral by 2030. You're picking the wrong sport.
Yeah.
Like, Formula One is, yes, it's the pinnacle of motorsport. It's also the pinnacle of trying to neutralize all of it. Like, pick football.
It's one of the pinnacles of technology.
Yeah, pick football if you want, because what do? They jet set around the world, go and play in all these international fixtures, hundreds of hours on coaches and all these things. And yet we're still just using normal aeroplanes and diesel engines on coaches. And it's like, that's going to be putting out a lot more, considering the scope of football compared to Formula One, than a Formula One event is.
Exactly.
So,
yeah,
basically.
We then got back underway once the grid had been sorted out, and as we say, Max picked up damage on the curbs.
Yeah,
from some Alpha Tauri floor.
Here comes Charles Leclerc.
Internet.
The cheer when he it's
okay.
Can
you repeat that last bit, because you went?
Yeah, the cheer when he slowed down on the hangar straight was outstanding. Nicholas Latifi was the most popular man on the track at one point. It was memes, absolute memes. Also, congrats to Latifi for getting P10 in qualifying. Latifi's slow because he still scored 0 points.
I mean,
He is
to be
ahead
fair,
of Hulkenberg.
he has now overtaken Hulkenberg in the championship. He is now
has.
P20 in a 21 driver championship.
Yeah, congrats.
He's made it.
Yeah.
His season has officially started.
Yeah.
The only way is up from here.
This is where Hulkenberg comes back for one race and scores points.
Just P10. That's all he needs. Just 1 point.
Is Latifi the only driver left with 0 points?
Yep.
Yeah.
But the stat that I previously liked is now gone because before Silverstone, Latifi was the only driver to not complete a lap in a points-paying position this season.
This was that bad.
Yeah. But now that's gone because obviously, he was in 8th for a while.
Yeah.
I mean, to be fair, he was doing all right. I expected him to just get swallowed, like
He was
just
keeping up
completely
with Max.
swamped by the field. But then off the
circuit
start, he
commentary.
knobs 2 people off the start line. I'm like, okay, what?
His circuit commentary were just like, haha, lol, Latifi, when he was keeping up with Max.
It's just, I mean, he's in a Williams and he's in the
Yeah.
non-upgraded Williams and he's keeping up with the Red Bull. It's like,
That upgraded Williams didn't have a good weekend at the qualifying and then didn't even get past turn 1.
Yep.
F.
And they were kind of hoping to have the upgrades ready for both cars for Austria, and now that's in doubt. So
that's a
Goat's
L.
TV is going to get the upgrades for Austria, yeah, guys.
Yeah.
He'll put the case out of like, look, Albon had it and he f***ed it, man.
Yeah.
I didn't have it. I nailed it. So give me the upgrades. It's my turn to shine.
I mean, there's a history of Latifi and crashing at Austria.
Good point. Maybe not the right circuit. Turn 1.
He's been crashing at every circuit.
I'm now going to go and do some research and figure out which circuits the TV has and hasn't crashed at.
But yeah, I'm struggling to remember anything else. What else happened? Or can
on the restart after
we
the
move
red
on to the
flag?
predictions?
Yeah, on the on the restart of the red flag, Charles Leclerc sent it on Perez, and there's about 4 wide.
Oh yeah, that was
That
just
move was
madness.
not there.
It was great to watch though.
Yeah.
Also, I'm going to propose let's move support races to next week after Austria, mainly because I only got to see intermittent parts of them because of travel to and from the circuit, etc. So we'll talk about Formula 3 and Formula 2 next week because I don't think they're on this weekend.
They were, in fact, on this weekend.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's fair. Yeah.
Yeah. Just so I can actually watch them properly. What else?
Yeah, so Charles was driving around without his
End plate.
right end
Yeah,
plate,
front
I
right
think.
end plate.
5 points of downforce.
And yet he was still on the.
What does that mean?
Like, you see
Something.
Perez with like pretty much the exact same damage, and Lando and Lewis were
He was
like
still
straight
setting
on him.
purples as well.
It was mental.
I guess that's just the difference in design philosophies behind the
Yeah.
2 cars, then, isn't it? It doesn't matter for the That's actually Pog for the Ferrari. You can dive up the inside, give someone a puncture, sacrifice your end plate, and still be rapid. That's huge.
Yeah, yeah.
Cody's, add that into the game, please.
So all of our predictions are going to be. But Richard, do you want to go over them anyway?
Yes. I actually calculated the points before we went on air this time.
Oh, well done.
God.
So, bold predictions. Ben, Russell P4. How'd that go for you, son?
It went at lap 1.
Chris, Red
Fun
Bull
one.
double DNF. How'd that go for you, son?
Yeah, neither DNF. Big sad.
Nia said Verstappen would crash. He did not.
No.
And I said both Ferraris would finish. And you said the gravel would. So, yeah. I win. Get wrecked.
Okay,
Nude.
podium, please.
Podiums. The top score this week was 3 points.
Wow.
And it was both myself and Nia who scored them in very different ways. I got my 3 points for putting Perez second on the podium. Nia got her 3 points for saying that Sainz and Perez would finish on the podium, but in the wrong positions, and that Sainz would score pole. An inspired choice. Ben, you scored 1 point for putting Perez third. And Chris, you scored 1 point for putting Hamilton second. Sonja scored 0 points. which is a big dub for everyone else involved.
And
Ben,
Apple Bingo, we all failed.
Nia got the correct lap.
Okay, so she wins.
Nobody got, basically, because nobody got the laps down right because it was 0. And nobody got the driver right because we all said Latifi.
Yeah.
The standings for
Richard, I'm gonna
what?
speed, please. I'm so tired.
Okay, so the standings for the the championship. I haven't changed. No, they're all the same. So Sonja's still in the lead. Ben second. I'm third.
Cool.
Hey.
Quickly, Austria predictions. Let's go, Richard. Pole.
Oh God. Because you just cut out then, so I was about to
Pole,
burst out
Richard.
laughing. Pole is going to be Charles.
Ben. Pole.
Verstappen.
I'm going to go Charles. Nia also went Charles, I think. Yeah. No, Nia went Verstappen.
So you went Charles.
Yeah.
I started writing Chris and then wrote Char.
Charles. Charles says Charles.
And I'll get Sonja's in a minute because she's live on Twitch. Twitch.tv/Sonja Woe. That's SONJAWO.
You can subscribe.
Yeah, you can subscribe to Sonja.
Yeah.
So that's pole. It's a sprint weekend, so sprint P1.
Speed King, Ben.
Checo Perez.
Richard, Speed King.
Verstappen.
I'm going to go Charles again. And Nia also went Charles.
Okay, and podium.
Verham pair.
Ben.
Say it. Verham bot. Say it.
Lecker.
Lecker. No, just Lek.
Verperlek. Okay.
Richard?
What did Nia say?
Ver Roslek.
Interesting. I'm gonna go Lek Ver Science.
Lek Versailles.
Versailles? That's a place in France.
It is, well done. Bold prediction, please, Richard.
Double McLaren points finish.
Okay, mine is going to be Ferrari engine go bang. Ben.
McLaren top 5.
Nia says both Alpines out of the points. Lap down showdown. Let's be honest, everyone says Latifi. What lap is Latifi being lapped, Richard?
I actually don't want to say Latifi this week.
What
I'm gonna change
who
it
is
up.
then?
Lance.
Oh, okay. So what lap is Lance being
Lance being strolled. What lap is Lance gonna get strolled?
I'm so tired.
How many laps are there?
70 something, I think.
Oh,
Yeah,
hang on, I got it.
71, I think.
Yeah, it's one of these long Grand Prix.
Is that cap or fact? It's 71. Well done.
He's played the F1 game before.
I haven't got to Austria yet. 71. So I'm going to say 32,
Okay. And how many
And-
laps?
just the one.
Okay, Ben. Are you
Uh,
sticking with Latifi?
yeah, I'm gonna stick with the TV. I'm gonna say he was lapped on lap 25, but 0 laps down at the end.
Okay. I'm gonna go Latifi lap 24, 2 laps down. And Nia has said
Latifi 25 and
2
2.
laps down.
Oh, what a
Yep.
shock. I didn't even have to look. I just, yeah, I know.
Anyway, we're
What
gonna
was
wrap
Nia's
up-
bold?
Oh, both Alpines out the
Alpines,
points.
that was it. Sorry, I hadn't written it down.
We will wrap up this episode for those of us watching on YouTube, with some footage and pictures from weekend.
It's
For
also
those of
available in video form on Spotify if you're
Yep.
watching.
for those of you listening on like Apple Podcasts and stuff, go watch YouTube for this week.
Otherwise, you'll just have the weird audio.
Yeah, because we actually have things to show you, Sorry, this has been a really quick episode for what was a really good Grand Prix. We'll probably talk about it some more next week, but I'm going
And
to fall asleep.
probably during the summer break as well, because that's
Yeah.
rapidly approaching.
It is.
Sad
yeah,
Formula One
literally.
fan noises.
I've been for so long. So shut up, Richard.
I
So
play
we
the
will
world's tiniest violin for you, and it plays a sad song.
enjoy the pictures, enjoy the videos. Hope you enjoyed the British Grand Prix. We will see you next week. Ta-ra for now.
Bye.